new features that Fortnite has added, like mantling and tactical sprint, controller players have had to switch some of their binds around to try to optimize their gameplay. In this video, I'm gonna be showing everyone the best binds, whether you play standard controller and don't use any claw or paddles, whether you do play claw and you use right claw or you use double claw, as well as paddle players, whether you play 2 paddles or 4 paddles. I'm showing the best binds for literally any player on any controller. And by the way, even after I show all of you players the best binds, make sure to stick around to the second half of the video where I'm gonna be showing a bunch of tips for you guys regarding controller binds, as well as some really great information on how you can actually improve by switching from, say, standard to paddles or standard to claw or even claw to double claw. Make sure to stick around for that. So let's jump straight into it. These binds are optimized so you can do the most important actions in the game without ever moving your thumbs off the thumbstick. So first, these binds are if you play no claw, no paddles on a PS4 controller. I'll also be showing the best binds for an Xbox controller without playing paddles or claw. But for standard PS4, here's what the binds look like. Over on D-pad, everything's pretty standard except for left D-pad is going to be on map, because on touchpad, we're actually going to put sprint. You might think that sprint's too hard to click with your thumbs, but I'll show you guys in just a sec. We're going to use an L3 edit. On R3, we're going to have crouch, slide, and repair. Jump with X, switch mode on circle, and then reload and pickaxe are just on the default. Then for edit controls, especially on standard, I think it's smart to use edit on release, but good reset binds is an R3 reset and an R1 confirm. Now for your guys' sprint bind on touchpad, here's how you can actually click it without using your thumb. All you have to do is take your index finger on either your left or your right hand and just slide it forward more. And in doing this, you're not actually playing claw. You're not holding it like this, but it's gonna be on top. And it's actually surprisingly easy to click the touchpad from the top of it. So all you're doing is acting like you're clicking R1, slide it over a little more, and just click down on the top of the touchpad, and that's how you can sprint without taking your thumbs off the thumbstick. Then for no claw, no paddles on an Xbox controller, here are the best binds. The Xbox controller doesn't have a touchpad, so we're gonna put sprint on left D-pad. We're gonna have an L3 edit and R3 jump. Then on this sort of left options button, we're gonna put map. A is gonna be crouch, slide, repair. B is gonna be switch mode. X is gonna be reload. Y is gonna be pickaxe. Once again, I think the best possible thing you can do with no paddles, no claw is to use confirm edit on release. Then for reset, an RB reset and an LT confirm. And by the way, these controller binds are not just random binds that I made up. I actually did a ton of research for this video and found the most recent binds of a ton of different pro controller players that all use these different grips that I don't use. So I found players that use double claw, I found players that don't use claw or paddles. Like those no claw, no paddles PS4 binds came straight from Chaos Gaming Live, who is actually a mechanically insane controller player. Like his builds, edits, movements, it's insane. Now let's move on to probably the second most popular type of controller grip, which is right hand claw. And if you don't know, right hand claw looks like this. Your right index finger is going to be the one that actually pushes all these face buttons. And this grip is also optimized to be able to do almost every single action in game while keeping your thumbs on the sticks. These PS4 right claw binds are actually inspired by Day, who is an insane controller player. You probably know who Day is. So we're gonna use a right D-pad for the pickaxe and L3 for the tactical sprint. Map is just gonna be on D-pad. Jump with R3, crouch, slide, and repair with X, edit on circle, reload and interact with square, and then switch mode on triangle. And along with editing on X, we're also actually gonna confirm with X, because with right hand claw you can use double edit binds and it can potentially be faster than using edit on release. And then reset is gonna be on R1. Now if you play right hand claw and use an Xbox controller, try these binds. Tactical sprint is gonna be on right D-pad. We're gonna be on an L3 edit. The map is gonna be on sort of that left options button. Crouch, slide, and repair with R3, an A jump, a B switch mode, an X reload, and a Y pickaxe. And along with switch mode on B, we're also going to have confirm on B. Again, because you're playing right hand claw, just using the double edit binds to confirm your edit can actually be a lot faster than confirm edit on release. So you can turn confirm on release off and then an LB reset. Next, we're gonna hop over to you players that play double claw, and I got some good binds for you guys as well. And by the way, double claw looks like this. It's pretty interesting. You can pretty much get to every single button on your controller without moving your thumbs off the thumbsticks. So the only thing that's different over here on the D-pad is on right D-pad, we're gonna have the pickaxe. On L3, we're gonna have that tactical sprint. We're gonna use a touchpad and map. R3 is gonna be the crouch, slide, repair. X is gonna be jump. Circle is going to be edit and confirm. Square is gonna be reload and interact, and then triangle is going to be your switch mode. Like I just said, circle is gonna be confirm, and you're gonna be resetting with R3. Now, I honestly don't know if there are players that play double claw on an Xbox controller. It doesn't really seem viable because you'd have to aim with your left index finger. However, if there are any of you out there for some reason, first of all, how in the world did you start using your controller like this? And secondly, these binds will actually work for you as well. All you have to do is put your left options button to map, and then they're literally the exact same binds. Now we're finally reaching the paddles players, which paddle players are probably in the minority in Fortnite. Of course they're out there, but the majority of controller players either play standard, which is no claw, no paddles, or they play claw. But if you don't know who I am and haven't seen my controller yet, I'm actually a paddles player as well. I played on 2 paddles for like 3.5 years, and then about a year ago I switched to 4 paddles. And paddles also really help to optimize the game to be able to do almost any action in game without moving your thumbs off the the thumbsticks, which is the most important thing. That's why paddles exist, and that's why people play claw. Here's what I have for you two paddle players on a PS4 style controller. Over on the D-pad, the only thing that's gonna be different is we're gonna have map on left D-pad, we're gonna have switch mode on L3, we're gonna have sprint on touchpad, and then on R3 we're gonna have the crouch, slide, repair. In X, jump, circle, edit. However, these are going to be your two paddles binds, and we're gonna have the typical square, reload, triangle, pickaxe. And just like I was telling the standard controller players to sprint, you don't have to click it with your thumb, although you can. You can actually just use your index finger and click down on the top of the D-pad. The D-pad will click down really easily, and that's exactly how you can sprint on these binds without ever taking your thumbs off the thumbsticks. By the way, for the edit controls, I have an L3 confirm and an R3 reset. I'm not gonna lie, I've never liked double edit binds. I've always played paddles and I've always used confirm, edit on release, so that's what I prefer. However, if you're using paddles and you're using these binds, you can be good with edit on release turned on or off. It doesn't really matter. If you play two paddles on Xbox One style controller, here are your guys' binds. We're gonna have sprint on right D-pad. We're gonna be using an L3 edit. Map is gonna be on that left options button. We're gonna have crouch, slide, and repair on R3. A on jump, B on switch mode. However, these are your paddles once again. And these binds actually come from a pro controller player by the name of Cam. For him, his left paddle is set to switch mode and his right paddle is set to jump. And along with his left paddle being switch mode, his left paddle is also confirmed. Then the standard X reload, Y pickaxe, and Cam's also resets with RB. And now we finally get to four paddles, which is what I actually typically play on. However, my four paddles binds on my PS4 controller are actually very specific to this exact setup because I do use the strike pack eliminator. And on this thing, you can actually bind multiple buttons to a single one of these extra paddles. So these binds are specifically for this strike pack. This top left paddle is actually my jump. This top right is my edit. This bottom right is my pickaxe. And then this bottom left is actually my tactical sprint. It's my reset and it's my confirm. Because all I have to do is I click my edit button and then all I have to do is click this and it resets and confirms my build. And then when I'm not in edits, I can click this for my tactical sprint. I use an L3 crouch, slide, repair. I use a touchpad map. I use an R3 switch mode, which this is actually not ideal. Ideally, I'd actually have switch mode on L3 and then crouch, slide, repair on R3. I need to make that change, but I haven't yet. And then the typical square reload. And then for edit controls, like I just said, I don't even press R3 to reset and I don't even press left D-pad to confirm, so those are kind of irrelevant. And I also do use confirm, edit on release. For you four paddle players that don't use an actual strike pack, but you have like a scuff or something similar, here's some great binds for you. Since not all paddles are up and down like this, some are actually side to side, you can decide the orientation of these, but I do think on your paddles, you should have a jump, you should have an edit, you should have sprint and confirm on the same paddle, and then on your last paddle, you should have pickaxe. Then you can use touchpad map, you can use an L3 switch mode, you can use an R3 crouch, square reload, and then for your edit control, you're gonna confirm with one of your paddles, so the only thing you have to figure out is a reset, and I think R3 can be a really good reset. Another reset bind that's really popular is R1, so you can also use that. And then if you play four paddles on an Xbox style controller like pro player Slow, you can copy his binds, which are these. He uses four paddles that go from left to right. All the way on his left paddle, he uses jump. On his middle left paddle, he uses both switch mode and confirm on that same paddle. On his middle right paddle, he uses pickaxe, and then on his far right paddle, he uses reload. With those binds, he uses tactical sprint on right D-pad. I don't think that's smart. I personally think it'd be smarter to just click X to reload and then put sprint on that reload paddle. And then for edit controls, an R3 or RB reset, either one works. And again, that same switch mode confirm paddle. And by the way, pro player Slow on those settings does not use confirm, add, and release, so he does utilize the double edit bind. One of the most important things in Fortnite now is to have optimized binds. And having optimized binds basically means that you can do everything in game fast, smooth, and consistently. You need to be able to jump and do a 180 smoothly and consistently. You need to be able to place a wall smoothly and consistently, make an edit smoothly and consistency and fast. Because not only does having optimized binds actually help you improve quickly, it can also help you raise your skill cap, which basically means if you've ever feel like capped off at your skill, like you feel your skill on whatever setup you're using is near the top that it can possibly be, then changing your binds can move that ceiling way higher and give you way more opportunity to improve at the game. Along with a bunch of other people, have been playing this game literally since the first season that it came out. And that means over the years, I've had to change my binds a lot. And during that time, I've actually switched from no paddle, no claws to 2 paddles. And then eventually I ended up switching to 4 paddles. So I do have some tips for you players that will definitely help you adjusting to whatever new thing you're using, whether it's finally switching to claw or paddles, or switching to a new controller, or just switching your normal binds. Trying anything new in Fortnite can of course be super frustrating, but making sure you optimize and adapt over time, it's definitely a key factor in getting good and staying good at the game. After players make those adjustments and actually take time and get used to them, they're literally almost always better at the game than they were before. One important tip for switching is make sure that you switch during an unimportant time in Fortnite. You of course don't want to switch when there's like a tournament or something coming up if you play competitive, and along with that you also want to make sure that you have enough time to build muscle memory when you first make the switch. If you don't have at least a couple hours right away when you make the switch to play and build that muscle memory, it can literally be useless because the next time that you log onto the game, you might not even remember that. You have to start back from zero and relearn everything on your new binds or whatever again. A second good tip to remember when you're trying to switch to something new is before you do anything else, grind piece control maps. Grinding piece control maps is the fastest way that you can really get comfortable with your switch, and then once you get sick of those or you feel like you're ready, hop into like a free-for-all map like the pit, and that way you can actually get used to pressing those binds under pressure. And really the main tip is to not be discouraged or switch back. Really take time to practice the new thing, get really good on it, and I promise you, you will not regret it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to catch you in a future video.